Hello, hello. This is Miki Wright, and I want to welcome you to Beauty Superstars Talk, which is your backstage pass to experts in beauty. I'm your host here, and I'm a salon pricing strategist with beautysuperstars.com, and I help struggling hairstylists turn into superstars who confidently raise their prices and charge what they're worth. And I want to thank you for being here today. I actually used to teach a class called Fabulous Finishes, and at the start of each class, I would welcome everyone into the fabulous world of beauty. And this world of beauty is super big, it's very vast, and all of our next series is dedicated to it's more than hair. And so we're going to look into the fabulous world of beauty through the lens of nails, skin, school ownership, marketing and branding, social media success, manufacturing and promoting your own products, and even building a global brand. So I am super excited to welcome my guest, Miss Maisie Dunbar, and she has excelled as a nail technician, opened her own spa, became a world-renowned educator, founded an international makeup line, all while living her purpose of using beauty to change lives globally. And to top it all off, she's done it all as a single mom. So obviously, we have a lot to talk about. So
Yes.
before we jump in, it's like I just want to welcome you if you are here for the first time. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are returning, want to thank you again for coming back for more. And each and every week, I actually have the privilege to interview Black beauty bosses who are doing amazing things in the beauty industry. And we give voice to their stories. We celebrate their excellence while they drop nuggets to help all of us become better beauty pros as well as better entrepreneurs. So, more than a podcast, this is actually a movement. We're encouraging Black excellence, entrepreneurship, and we're here to preserve our history as well as bring healing into our industry. And so I want to thank our sponsor, which is the Luxury Hairstylist Blueprint, which gives hairstylists a four-step process to raise their prices and elevate their client experience in only 6 weeks without fear or guilt. And if you'd like to know more, be sure to sign up for the next free webinar, which is beautysuperstars.com level up. And it's called Level Up and Charge What You're Worth. And so you can reach it at beautysuperstars.com/, level up. And or you can plan to join us for the last class of the Luxury Hairstylist Blueprint of the Year, which actually starts tonight as you're watching this. And we'll set you up to raise your prices before the end of the year. So DM me on Instagram. It's Miki Wright, at Miki Wright. And Miki is just one K, Mikiwright. So let me share Miss Maisie Dunbar's extensive bio here, and we will jump right into our conversation. So, welcome, Maisie.
Hi. Well, it's great to be here. Sorry about the train. I live close to the train track. So if a train's going by, let me just shut the door while you're doing that. Is
Okay,
it
okay,
okay?
that's perfect. Yep, it's like we're used to different noises sometimes, as everybody's in
Okay. That's
their own
fine.
environment. But if you want to, that's perfect.
Okay.
So, Maisie Dunbar, with over 2 decades of experience in the dynamic beauty industry, the United Nations Goodwill Ambassador, Maisie Dunbar, is the founder of the internationally recognized global award winning Maisie Dunbar Beauty Brands. Based in Germantown, Maryland, has become one of the most sought after celebrity beauty geniuses in the world. Maisie has also been regularly featured as a television and radio personality on such stations as Fox TV, ABC Channel 7, TLC, PBS, BET, Channel 8, GHTV, Moments in Ghana Reality TV, WOLB Talk Radio, and many others. Maisie's work has also graced several advertising campaigns for clients such as Samsung, Revlon, Ashley Stewart, Steve Madden, Procter& and Gamble, and Anne Klein. Maisie Dunbar's client A list reads like a who's who of the fashion and entertainment industry. Her creativity, wealth of knowledge, and professionalism have landed her work on the very pages of Vanity Fair, O Magazine, Harper's Bazaar, In Style Magazine, Glamour, Italian Vogue, Ebony, Essence 17, and other national and international magazines. Maisie Dunbar regularly hosts sold out seminars on techniques and business strategies within the beauty industry. She seeks every opportunity to share her knowledge through international training in London, Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia, South America, and other locations. And she's actually on her way out of the country as we speak. So I'll let her tell us a little bit about that as we go on. But
Yes,
I want to
yes,
welcome you, Maisie. And I also want to let everyone know it's like we've known each other a very long time.
very long time. Miki knew me when I was just an infant in the industry, like literally an infant in the industry. 6 months into the industry, that's how long she's known me. It's been almost 30 years. Can you imagine?
Wow, it's crazy.
It is. It is.
Yeah, we met at the infamous Kelly Harem Salon in Silver
Kelly
Spring.
girl.
Yeah, Mrs. Gloria Kelly put together a fabulous business and a fabulous team, and so it was a lot of heavy hitters
She
that came out
did.
of that
She did.
salon.
She
So
did.
yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
tell us, it's like
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
what were you saying?
No, I know I was agreeing with you. You went out for a
Oh,
minute.
okay. Yeah.
You see, I'm
Yeah,
so used to bad internet.
what'd you say?
I said I'm
Uh,
used to bad internet. So if you go out, I'm like, okay, it's okay, because I'm used to bad internet. I do it, overseas. The internet's terrible.
oh boy, okay. Yeah, hopefully we'll keep it together. It's like we always have our tech check beforehand, and of course everything went well for that. And now it's like looking like you're a little fuzzy, and it's like maybe the
Oh,
delays with
really?
yeah
Oh,
with the
do I
speaking.
need to
So
take my glasses off?
no, I mean you're fine either way, whatever you're
Okay.
comfortable with. But yeah, it's like you said you were in your infancy when we met, but what was what brought you even into the beauty industry? How'd you get started?
Well, how I got started, I got laid off my job. I used to work for British Telecom as a software engineer, and I got laid off my job. And one of my coworkers had found a nail school in Rockville. At the time, it was Fame School of Nail Design. I'm pretty sure you're familiar. And I always did my own nails, and my own nails looked nice all the time. So she was like, Maisie, you should go to nail school. You should do other people's nails. I'm like, girl, please. I can't have time for that. But I did go after I got laid off only to do my own nails so I could save money so I wouldn't have to go to the salon anymore. At the time, I was going all the way into DC to get my nails done. I was like, if I do my own nails, I can cut back on that travel time and all of that. So that's how I fell into the beauty industry.
Yeah, that's a fall in, absolutely. To go from that, it's like, oh, I'll just do my own nails to
Yeah,
internationally. So
yeah.
yeah, so what was getting started like for you? Because you started, pretty early and with the Kelly Harem, but I guess you had started a few months before that. But what was that like?
Yes, when I first got started, Miki, I knew nothing about the industry. I don't know some of your viewers. I mean, now with social media, at least people getting their feet moist, not even wet, but moist. But I was green. I was a novice. I didn't know anything. So when I came into the beauty industry, there were so many challenges that I had in beauty school, and my instructor was a cosmetologist. She was not
Mhm.
a nail technician. So there I had that challenge as well. So when I got out of beauty school, I was seeking continuing education. My very first nail class I went to was a Tammy Taylor class. I'll never forget. It was somewhere in DC, and she did a full set of sculpted nails in 9 minutes.
Wow.
And yes, 9 minutes. And I said to myself, I'm going to be able to do that, and I'm going to be better than her. And I had gotten of my first job was at a barber shop. It was called Up Next. Ronnie Morgan took a chance on me. I'm fresh out of school. He gave me my first job. And as you well know, once you get started, sometimes it was a barber shop. So they had spacey issues. So there was a time that they told me to work on the weekend, but the weekend girl had not communicated that she was going to be working on the weekend. So when I came to work, she was there, and I guess they didn't know how to handle that. So I felt slighted. I was like, I don't need to take this. So that's how I found Kelly Harem, by looking in Sophisticate's Black Hair magazine. And I think it
Um,
was either your work or Michelle's work or somebody's work was in there. And like, I'm going to go up to this place and see if I can get a job there. So I went there, and Miss Kelly took a chance on me, and she told me I had 30 days, 30 or 60 days as a commission operator, and after that I had to go to booth rent. I didn't know anything about booth rent. I didn't know anything. Like, what was that word, booth rent? What is that? I didn't know.
Okay.
So that's how I got into landing at Kelly Harriman. And Kelly Harriman was really like a takeoff for me because I was surrounded by some amazing, amazing women. You, Melanin, Michelle, Carol. I mean, just amazing, amazing women. And even back then, we were a community that supported each other, you know, in that space. And I was the only manicure, so I was happy.
You are a hot commodity.
Exactly. But although I was a hot commodity, I still had to get my skill sets right, because although you were hot, you had one chance to mess up, and that was that.
Right.
Especially back then.
Yeah, we had, I would say, like a really, like high-end type of clientele that was used to a nice experience.
Yes.
They wanted what they wanted, basically.
They wanted what they wanted. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was my thing.
Yeah. Well, you had quite a like just kind of get thrown in the pool kind of thing.
I was, exactly. Yeah. And it's funny, Miki, because my very first full set of acrylic client, I used to go to you remember back in the day, we had Safeway on Georgia Avenue in Wheaton.
Oh, okay.
So I would go there, and that's where I used to pass out my flyers, because the barbershop was right behind the Safeway.
Okay.
So, I got back to the salon, and they were like, "Oh, Maisie, somebody called to make an appointment." You know how it is when you're fresh out of school, you're passing out these flyers. I mean, now it's social media, but back in our day, it was like literally passing out flyers and putting stuff on people's cars, and they get annoyed and they rip your stuff. So I got back to the salon, and they were like, "Oh, Maisie, a lady called. She wants to make an appointment for a manicure." Because they are guys, and hopefully this will help some of your viewers, because they are guys, everything for a man is a manicure.
Oh, okay, got it.
They don't differentiate. Even my agent, like Ken, would book me for a gig. He would say manicure, and when I get there, it's not. So it's just for them, everything is a manicure. So then I took upon myself to call the lady, and then she wanted a full set of acrylic nails, and I didn't know how to do it. So instead of telling her I didn't know how, and I said to her, I was very honest with her. I said to her, I'm fresh out of school. I don't know how to do acrylics. I'm not that good, but if you got about good 8 hours, I promise you we can finish this out today. And she stayed, and I did it, and she was my client until she died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So honesty does work, guys. If you don't know how to do anything, just don't let the client walk out the door. Give them that option,
Yeah, actually, absolutely. It's like having that honesty as the basis of your relationship is really key. And you touched on, our old school ways of trying to, build our clientele. And was it yesterday or the day before? It's like Facebook and Instagram both went down, and there was nothing. And so I've been starting to have some of these conversations. It's like, what would you do if there were no social media anymore to build your clientele? And so
can I answer that, Miki? Can I say something about that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So to your point, most of my team is in Nigeria, and on the continent, if they don't do anything, they're on social media like crazy. They live on social media. Mm-hmm. So my assistant is constantly telling me, "Madam, we need to do this." So I'm like, "Girl, our email list is our income." So people take that slightly with the email list, building their email list. Your emails are people that have experienced you, the people that know you. So when social media crashes, you have to tap into that audience. So when that happened yesterday, a day before yesterday, we were on a call this morning in the meeting, and she was like, "Oh, Miss Maisie, now I see what you were talking about." Because now she gets it. If you can't reach those people in social media that are out there, you have your foundation, and your foundation is your email list. You own that. Facebook doesn't own it. Instagram doesn't own it. LinkedIn doesn't own it. You own your email list.
Right. Right. And I would add to that, just because like it's yours, but it's like it's still on someone else's server to download it every once in a while,
Yeah,
maybe monthly or every couple months or what have you.
yeah,
Download your list onto your computer so you have that CSV,
yeah,
no matter what.
absolutely. Yeah, you got to own your stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So
Got
definitely
to.
that's a good tip. So I hope everybody's really paying attention, especially after that, because it's like
Yeah,
we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we went through 2020, so we literally do not know what's going to happen
yes,
next.
yes. And having the internet down yesterday was almost like what we went through 2020. It was for one day.
Right.
I lost like literally all the contact information that they sent me for my trip today. They
Oh,
had
wow.
to send everything. Everything got lost, and because they use WhatsApp a lot there, so
Right.
everything was on WhatsApp, and everything got lost.
I mean, it's incredible, because it really makes the world smaller too with social
Yes,
media, because it's like we're always in
yes,
communication with different countries, like you say, and using tools
exactly.
like WhatsApp, which is connected with Facebook and Instagram.
Yes,
It's
yes,
so we
yes.
need plan A, B, and C.
Girl, tell me about it. The only thing that was working was Telegram.
Okay.
Only Telegram worked yesterday.
And that doesn't even sound 2021.
I know,
That sounds like 1990 or
I
something.
know, I know. But that app was working. I tell you that. I was
Okay.
able to communicate with people, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Right, right. Well,
Yeah,
tell us how you went from like Kelly Harem to opening a spa, because you had a very well, people patronized it. It was there for a long time. It's like you
yeah.
provided great services for people in the Maryland, DC area. So what made you want to open it? What was opening it like, owning it, and then I think selling it. Is that right?
Girl, you got all night. I didn't
Okay,
actually, I
right.
wanted to sell it. I wanted to sell it, but I didn't get a chance to sell it.
Okay.
I didn't wish I the reason why I wanted to sell it was I wanted it to be a space wherever I came back to the States, which is my home. Whenever I came back to the States, I would have a place to work. And I wanted my clients to be, to still be in that community because I worked really hard to create a community space. So how did I get started in the spa? You said what was the first
Mhm.
question? How did I get started?
Yeah.
Well, at Kelly Harem, I think I was at Kelly Harem for like 8 months, 8 or 9 months. And when I found out that Miss Kelly was about to sell her salon, I know I needed a place to move to work. And then I heard about Salon Obsessions. Michelle was at Salon Obsessions.
Mm.
Michelle called me and told me that the manicurist that Keith had for so many years, she was moving back to the Philippines. So it was
Mhm.
all timely. And that particular day, when I went to meet with Keith, I met with another salon owner. When I walked away from the salon owner, I just didn't feel comfortable like it was going to be a space for me. So she wanted me to sign a contract. So I refused to sign the contract because I was just like, let me go talk to Keith and see. So when I left her salon, I went to Salon Obsessions and I talked to Keith. I felt like, okay, this is a place for me. So then I ended up at Salon Obsessions. I was a booth renter at Salon Obsessions. Again, I was in an environment where people, was like family. Some of DC's top hairstylists was in Salon Obsessions. And I knew it was going to be a great place for me to build my clientele. And I used to help with shampooing hair because I felt if I shampoo people's hair, they would get to experience my touch. And if they experience my touch, I could transition them from there to my chair, which was how I built my clientele. And I think one of the first things that people should understand in this beauty industry, you can be in a top salon. If you are not at work and if you are not engaging with that top salon clientele, you are not going to build your clientele. I had a bunch of no's. I had to come up with strategies to get these people in my chair. My number one strategy was trying to help Bruce, Michelle, Nat, Matt, all of them. I was trying to help them with shampooing. That's the first thing. The second thing I did was oftentimes, especially back then, oftentimes people would say, "Oh, I'll get my nails done when I'm done with my hair." But after they've done with their hair, they will slip out the door. I'm like, "Okay, you slipped out this time. You're not slipping out next time." And I was like clocking them. I
Okay.
was clocking them. So yeah, so as soon as I would do them and they'll go up under the dryer, I would literally bring a tray and sit next to them under the dryer and did their nails. That's another way I build my clientele. I also offered a lot of free manicures because I wanted people to think I was good and I wanted people to think I was busy. They didn't know I was doing all these manicures for free, but they just thought, oh my gosh, she's always booked. She's always booked. And I was booked, all right. So those are the kind of strategies that I did. But I've always been a person that wanted to be different from everybody else. So a lot of things I started to infuse in my little nail area that I had at Salon Obsessions. I knew that I wanted more for my clients. So I moved into a smaller space. I started to, with me being a member of PBA, I met Bob that owns Robert Andrews, and
Mm-hmm.
I started to communicate with him. He was mentoring me. Then I met Roxanne at the time that owned Roxanne Day Spa. She also started to give me advice. And the one advice that they both gave me that stayed with me was, don't be afraid to start small and build from there. So I started when I left Salon Obsessions. I started off really small in like a nail studio, and then I just grew from there by adding different services. Went back to school for skincare, went back to school for massage. And I went back to school for massage and skincare because as I added these treatments onto my menu, I I didn't want to feel hostage to anybody else. Not that I wanted to do other services. No, I did not. But I wanted to be where if somebody didn't show up to work, I needed to step in there and do the work.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be licensed. So I got my license, and then again, I started all over by seeking continuing education and really learning the spa business. I hired a spa consultant. I went into her whole 1 week program. I also went and hired strategies. I got involved in the strategies program for 2 years. So every 3 months I went to Saybrook, Connecticut, just to learn the strategies of leadership and how to really manage my systems and not try to manage people. So those are all the things that I did to really groom myself to where I am today.
Wow. We call this a master class. It's like y'all just got a master class. It's like I hope you had pen and
Oh,
paper
y'all
out.
pay Miki for that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you dropped some serious, nuggets because, and people, it's like we tend not to pay attention. It's like, okay, you're at the salon. There's all these people in here, like you say, at the top salon. It's busy, top stylists and all in the area. But like you said, if you don't get involved with the clients and getting to know them and letting them get to know you, you're just going to be, a bump on the wall.
Yeah, and
You're
then
not
6 months later, you're gonna say the beauty industry didn't work for you. So
right.
now, but it's not the industry, it's you.
Right, right. Yeah, we got to get our hands wet, if you will. It's like,
Yeah. Wet and
yeah,
dirty.
yep, dirty, wet, whatever, blow dry.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. When I
True.
first started, I was similar. It's like I was at Sally's hair studio in
Mm-hmm.
Northwest DC, and it was really busy. That was where I met Keith, and Keith was already busy, and everybody in the salon. There even wasn't a space for me at first because it were just busy, and so I had zero clients, like zero. And
Yes.
so I shampooed for everybody. I could greet
Mhm.
everybody's clients by name. It was like I knew them, they knew me. It's like, how do you like
Mhm.
me to do this way? If you want me to do this way different, it's like
Mhm.
I'm all in. And so I definitely think that's what it takes. But then I love your innovation, that you started, it's like trying this and adding that. And it's like, okay,
Mhm.
let's make
Yeah.
this a special, memorable type of thing and doing the
Yeah.
services for free to get them the experience because it's like, oh wow, okay, yep, let me get my next one booked, before I leave.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
another thing I did also, Miki, was, and I still do it today with me going to e-commerce and switching the way I do business now. I did this thing called the second day callback. And I really encourage people to do that. And I did that second day callback back then because I wasn't sure if the nail was going to break. I wasn't sure what was going to happen because, again, I was using, because I figured if I'm practicing on the fake hand, I'm really not going to train my eyes for design versus practicing on humans. So to incorporate that, I was offering like free polish change after a week. And I did that so I can see if they had any breakage. I can fix that breakage before they came back for their rebalance. And then my second day callback was I rather than tell me that next day, oh, amazing, my nail broke, and I can say, oh, you can come this Saturday. I can squeeze you in at, so that's why I did my second day callback. And of course, as I grew in the industry, my questions for my second day callback got a lot better. Before it was just, oh, hi, this is Maisie. You got your nails done yesterday with me. I'm just calling to tell you thank you. How was your treatment? How are your nails doing? And then when they said, well, my polish looked like it's sliding off. And I'll be like, oh, shucks. I was like, okay. I'm like, oh, okay. If you have time on Saturday, I can come in a little bit earlier for you. I know you have if they had an appointment with Bruce or Michelle or whatever. I'm like, if you come 10 minutes earlier, I can get you started. Even if they couldn't, when they came for their appointment time, I stood up next to them and repaired or did whatever I needed to do.
Right, right.
You
Yeah.
know?
That's going the extra mile. That's that customer, what I call impeccable customer service,
Yeah.
where like, yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't get any better than that. You're getting checked on. It's like if something didn't go, as planned, it's like you're taking care of it. And like you say, those become like those clients for life. Like you say, you're
Yeah.
client. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So you transitioned into your own spa and like you say, grew it
Mhm.
from the beginnings or what have you. And
Yes.
somewhere in there you became an educator.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that part of your career.
Oh my God. I know your viewers are like, that girl got a lot of jobs. Remember
Uh-huh.
Melanie used to tease me? Girl, yes. So becoming an educator, again, people, I came into this industry, I didn't know anything. I'm not even sure how I found out about IBS. I believe I found out about IBS, the International Beauty Show, at that class with Tammy Taylor. She had mentioned it. So I went to IBS, and at the time I was using a particular top coat, and I really loved the top coat. And I saw that they had a booth because back then IBS was IBS. IBS was a great show.
Mhm.
So I saw that they had a booth. So I went to their booth and I was like, are you hiring, manicurists, for your, because they only had the top coat, the base coat, and they had like four colors, but it was all about like a French manicure line. So they said, well, not really, but if you leave your information after the show, we'll get back to you. I said, oh, I got one better. I got my resume. They hired me on the spot.
Uh-huh.
Yes, that's how it all started. So I was in the Northeast regional director for that particular brand. So during that time, I would always go to trade shows with my nails bare. I got my nails done at the C&D booth, and that nail was just standing out to me. At the end of the show, I went back and I bought everything that he used. And I asked him, I said, I'm in the DC area. Do you guys have a distributor that carries your product, and do you do classes? Back then, C&D was the only nail company that did classes. So, of course, they referred me to Davidson's at the time, went to Davidson's and took all their classes. To become an educator for C&D, you have to first become a master. So you have to know their product, know how it works, take all their classes. So I became a master. And a couple of times, Jen and I was on the same platform for judging competitions, and she kept saying to me, Maisie, you should come. You should come. And I was working for this other nail company, and I really liked my boss. So the moment my boss quit or left was
Wow.
when I took that chance to go to C&D. Granted, Jan wanted me to come work for them, I still had to go through the entire protocol of the company. I had to go to boot camp. I had to pass boot camp. I had to do my presentations, all of that. And I worked for C&D for so many years. And then as a celebrity manicurist, of course, I use their product in my salon, and I also use their products on set as well. So it just became part of me with C&D, and I always try to associate myself with the best in the industry. I make sure I do that, because I consider myself to be the best.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's easy to see why. Okay. Yeah, but that's wonderful, and it's like you've had all kinds of different opportunities as well as awards and that
Yeah.
type of thing from doing your education. It's like you've got people coming to you from all over the world. I know like at premiere shows and that type of thing. It's like to
Yeah.
find out what you know because it's like you do such an exceptional job.
But it's funny, Mickey, people see you and they may see me, and they don't know the backstory as to how you got where you have gotten. It takes
Right.
not only hard work, but different strategies to make this stuff. Like I never went to trade shows with my hand. I knew when I went to a trade show, when I got into the industry, I said I wanted to be the best or I wanted to be one of the best. And as an
Mhm.
African American, back then you didn't see our faces like that. Oftentimes even when we went to trade shows, very few of us was at those shows like Premiere and IBS. Very, very few of us. Maybe you, Bruce, uh, um, and very few stylists in the DC area you saw. Bruno, Keith, very few of us. But I had to, as a manicurist, hairstylist is different. As a manicurist,
Mhm.
you have to come up with some serious strategies to get people to sit in your chair, and you have to understand that you can't build your business off of new clients. You're going to build your business off of retentive clients, and you got to retain those people.
Right.
It's
Right.
just, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And speak to us about the differences between hair and nails. It's like I was just talking with a young lady who's a newer esthetician, and I was like, there are distinct differences between like building the clientels. So talk to us, like what is your experience been with, hairstylists versus nails?
Okay, my experience with hairstylists, right? I think I'm a hairstylist deep down inside, but I ain't come out yet. So, but anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I think I worked around too many hairstylists all these years. But I think with hairstylists back then, people would take a chance on a hairstylist. People will pay first. When they did their budget, it seemed like it was hair, and if anything left over, I would do nails. The same thing went for working on set. When they did the budget for set, it was hair and makeup, and then nails was last. Now it's like a full look. People want the hair, the makeup, and the nails. The great thing about nail techs, if you're in a hair salon that have top hairstylists in there, you have an area where you can really build your clientele. You know, communicate with those hairstylists. Don't have an attitude. You can build from their clientele if you're just starting out. Practice, practice, practice. My father used to always say perfect practice makes perfect. So if you practice doing something wrong all the time, you're going to just get very great at doing something wrong. So as a hairstylist, you can make a mistake and the client may come back. As nail techs, you make a mistake, a client may not come back. So you have to have a plan. If that client is not coming back, or that client has not come back within 2 weeks for either her rebalance or whatever, you need to pick up that phone and find out why.
Mhm.
So I think that's the difference between hair and nails. Nails, you have to work a little bit harder. You have to have a little bit of a strategy to get the clients in your chair. And once you get them in your chair, you have to devise a plan to keep them in your chair.
Yeah, yeah, definitely wise words. It's like I kind of see the difference, or explain it. Like, it's like if the light bill's due and I can get my hair done, I'll work out getting the lights paid later.
Yeah,
Whereas
exactly.
people don't have that, desire, or like, I've got to
Yeah,
have this part done,
yeah,
like kind of no matter what, about
yeah.
skin, about nails, and that type of
Because I
stuff.
figure there's like I can just put a little polish on my nails that'll get me over, but I don't know what to do with my hair.
Right, right,
So they are going to make it happen for their hair. So we as nail professionals, for those nail professionals that are tuning in, we as nail professionals, you have to make your services so important that when she thinks about that hair, she's thinking about her nails.
right,
It's not an option. Me getting my nails done, it's not an option.
right. And not to give hairstylists a pass at all, that you think your clients are coming no matter what. Listen to every single word she's saying, because it all
Yeah.
applies. Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely. So talk to us, you mentioned being on set a few times. So tell us about, what that experience is like and how you got started with that. Because I know there's always people that are,
Oh
how
my
do you do
God.
that? I want to do that.
Miki. Oh my God. I got a story for everything. My life should be a movie. Look, if
Okay, right.
you're listening to Miki's podcast, contact Miki. Miki will tell you how to get in touch with me and we can do this
Okay.
movie. Let's do this. Let's do this. So
Okay.
anyway, it's funny. Bruno. Remember Bruno?
Hmm.
Bruno had a client in DC that came and got her hair done. Again, nail techs. This is why you should communicate and create a relationship with all the hairstylists in your area. And don't just be good, be great at what you do, including your personality. Don't be terrible with your personality. That's just a little caveat there. So Bruno referred a lady to me when I was at Obsessions. He called me that night. I was just about to leave. He was like, "Oh, Maisie, I have this high profile client in town. I just did her hair. Can you do her nails?" I was like, "Sure." It was like 10 o'clock at night. So she came, I did her nails. Come to find out, she was the beauty editor at the time at Essence. And she told me it was one of the best manicures that she's ever had. And she invited me to Essence to do a roundtable panel. Girl, I was just like, what? I'm there. Back then, Essence was like our Vogue magazine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now for Essence to be owned by one of my really, really dear friends that we grew up together. So it's even like hindsight, right? So after the meeting at Essence, I decided, you know what they say, a closed mouth is never fed. So I decided to ask her, is there an agent that represents manicurists? And she said, well, I know an agent that represents, again, hairstylists and makeup artists. So I was like, okay, I'll go talk to him and see. I went and talked to him. And at the time, he was representing one manicurist. She was kind of doing a lot of work on her own, but she was still on his roster. And we became really good friends. Meredith McCormick, she also owns World Bride magazine now. So Meredith is like my sister. So when Ken Barboza hired me, he told me before he could represent me, I had to have my photo shoot done. Miki, I took my pictures 14 times. Ken turned me down. 14, not one, not two, not three, 14 times he turned me down. So my 14th time, and I was on my way to New York that morning. Back then we didn't have digital. I had to take the train. Yeah. So I get to New York. I'm like, as I'm walking to his office, I'm like, if this man turned my picture down one more time, it's gonna be me and him today. I swear to God. So I get in there and he's like, Maisie, you almost there. I bet the next set of images you do will be there. I'm like, Ken, come on. So while we're talking, he gets a call that they needed a manicurist the next day. So he puts them on hold and he asks me, he said, since you're here, can you stay? I was like, sure. I'm African. We got family all over. So I was like, sure. I hadn't even called my family or nothing, right? So, and long story short of that, I called my cousin. I was able to stay with them for the night. I went to Doreen Reed, bought some things that I needed. I hit up C&D. They told me that PR firm was in New York. I hit up the PR firm. They sent me everything I needed. And that's how I started working with Ken. Long story short, I was with Ken for 28 years prior to me asking him to remove me off his roster. Ken, basically my career, all of what I've accomplished today is because of my nail career. I can't even say it's not my nail career. It's my nail career, and from working with the NBA All-Star, from working with the NFL, like the list goes on. It's all because of my nail career. But first, I had to show up, and I had to show up right. Secondly, I had to be open to constructive criticism. And
Mhm.
with Ken telling me and training me how to train my eyes for design when I have a photographer shooting my pictures, that helped me with my nail work with my clients in my everyday day-to-day life. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Right.
how I got
Right.
started.
Yeah. Wow. It's like the 14 times. I hope everybody heard that. It's like
14.
you,
14.
you could have said,
And
"Well,
every
I
time
picked up
I talk
real
to him,
good."
Mickey, I remind him of that. I'm like
I'm
14
sure.
times.
So, I mean, you easily could have given up, after the first time, second time, third time, not to even mention all of the other ones in between. But
Yeah,
your persistence is like critical and key. And like
yeah,
you said, you learn something each time you're getting these critiques. And it's like
yeah,
that helps not only for the next photo shoot, but for your clients in the salon. And I
yeah.
think now, photo shoots aren't as big or popular as they were then because there's not as much print publication and we think we can do it with our phone. But I
Mhm.
think like what you're saying is like engaging with these other creative artists elevates what you're doing and what you're able to produce on a daily basis as well as when it's showtime.
Yes, absolutely. And you got to be willing to like I'm not a diva at all. The only thing I think I'm diva about is my hotel room where I sleep.
Okay.
But I sit on the floor, I lay on the floor. I mean, when I'm on set, I whatever it takes to get the shot, I'm gonna do it. And I've worked with some amazing, amazing hairstylists and makeup artists. I remember when Jay Manuel first started, his very first shoot, we worked on it together. Oscar James, Larry, all of those guys. Like, it's just I just been blessed, Nikki. If I died today, and when I went to the gate, get to the gates of heaven, and God said, "What do you want to go back as?" I will definitely say a beauty professional, hands down.
Okay.
I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
that's my office phone.
Okay. Always on the move here. But
Yes.
yeah, it's like I love everything that you shared, and I definitely, your career has been like ba boom, with everything, like starting from, it's like, oh well, I'll just learn how to do my nails so I can, save the
I
trip and
know.
save the money
I know,
to
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
working all over the world. And
Yeah.
so you started Bluffa Joe Cosmetics
Yes.
somewhere along the line. And so
Yeah.
tell me, like, why did you start a cosmetic line? Like you said, a lot of your careers come from your nail, background. Why
Yeah.
cosmetics?
Um, I actually did makeup, believe it or not. People actually used to have me do their weddings before I got into the beauty industry.
Okay.
So yeah, so I don't know why they trusted me to do their weddings. I'm like, they're crazy. Now I look at them, I'm like, they were crazy to hire me to do their weddings. Yeah. So I actually did makeup before I got into I was always Mickey, I was always fascinated by beauty.
Mhm.
Growing up as a kid, I'll never forget. I think I might have been like 5 or 6 years old. We were at my aunt's house one time, and my aunt was like really high sedity in Liberia. And I was playing with something, and they were fussing at me. And she said, "Y'all leave Maisie alone. That's gonna be my niece that's gonna make it to Hollywood." So
Yeah.
my very first time when I went to do the Grammys, I really that resonated. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Like I'm like, wow, I'm really at Hollywood. And I thought way back when.
Right.
So when it came to me doing makeup after my mother passed, it was a major hit for me. Um, I started to think of my life differently. I started to think about what my retirement looked like. I knew that what we do for a living is very physical. Believe it or not, people don't think, standing on your feet or sitting and doing skin and all that. It's physical. So I knew I would always be doing beauty until my breath leaves my body, but I also know that reality is it's physical. So I had to think of another way that I could make money doing what I love and be able to help people that I desire to help. Because when I went to nail school originally, I grew up on the beach, and my goal was to go back home and open a resort on that beach, but along the way, things change. But I wanted to do makeup to create a legacy for my family. So when my mom died, I started to look at what's next for Maisie. And I was at not ABS, I was at Long Beach, the Long Beach Beauty Show. I just attended. It was literally a few months after my mom passed. I just attended, and everybody was asking me, Maisie, what's next? Maisie, what's next? So I was sitting at the bar with a bunch of hairstylists. You know, your hairstylists. I'm sorry, hairstylists. If you find cigarettes and alcohol, you'll find a hairstylist.
Okay.
So I was sitting at the bar with a bunch of hairstylists. We were all talking, and then I ran into the chemist at the time for CND and OPI. So we started to talk, and they asked me, so Maisie, what's next? And I started to just ask their opinion about makeup and all of that. So the first chemist that I got, those two men referred the first chemist to me. And when we first launched Bluffer Joe, because it was a self-starter brand, we only started with 4 products. And just hard work and dedication, now I have 269 products.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yay.
I should have done nail polish.
Incredible.
It would have been cheaper.
Okay.
Less.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. So, a couple things. Tell us, about the name Bluffa Joe, and tell us about that path, between 4 products and over 200.
Well, okay. The name Bluffer Joe, I can't take credit for that. My younger sister, her name is Kathy. When I was toying with what to name the product, Kathy was like, let's name it Bluffer Joe. So Bluffer Joe is a term that we refer to a person from Liberia that is always well dressed, always well put together. They refer to that person as Bluffer Joe. Like literally, when I land in Liberia, nobody calls me by my name. Everybody calls me Bluffer Joe. Even here, people from Liberia, everybody calls me Bluffer Joe. Like they literally were introducing me as, oh yeah, you don't know this is Bluffer Joe. I'm like, no, my name is Maisie. But it's okay because it gets it's all part of the branding. You want to call me Bluffer Joe? Call me Bluffer Joe till I die. I don't care. My name is
Okay.
Bluffer Joe Dunbar. That's my name. So that's where the name comes from. It's come from Liberia. It's a local term in Liberia that we call a person that is always well dressed. We call them Bluffer Joe. So it's well known. It's so funny, Miki. So many people have said to me, I should change the name. The name doesn't sound right. I mean, it's just all kinds of things. So when you develop your brand, whatever it may be, you have to know that you know and feel good about what it is that you put out, because people will, I mean, this was a marketing company that I had engaged with, and they were like, you should change the name to your name. Your name is on everything else. Your name. I'm like, oh, Maisie Dunbar Cosmetics. I didn't like it. It just never ring to me. So I decided, also, let's meet in the middle. Let's do Bluffer Joe, a Maisie Dunbar company. So they were like, your name is more established. People can't relate Bluffer Joe to Maisie. I'm like, but you got to stay true to who you are. So I'm glad that I never changed the name to my name, because
Mhm.
I think the name Bluffer Joe is very unique, and it goes back to my culture. And
Right.
I am who I am because of where I'm from, and I don't have that twisted. And your second question was the pathway between um,
4 products
getting that
to
product line.
200. Yeah, from 4 to 200. It's like
Oh,
that's
from Florida. No. Oh,
explosive
girl,
growth.
what?
Yeah.
Work, work, work. So what I would do is whatever money I made, I will put it back into the brand and get maybe 2 other colors or 3 other colors or 4 other colors. Like if whatever I made, and that's how we grew the brand. Every little money that I made on set, I would take some of my personal money. Maybe I should not have done that, but that's what I did. I'm just gonna be truthful. So a lot of my personal money I used to put into the brand. My family also, I don't know where I would be without my family, because they are like the foot soldiers for my brand. They order, they've put money into it, they've invested into it, but yet they still order. I mean, I don't know what I would do without my family, honestly. So that's how we got from 4 to where we are now. My clients, it's just been a blessing. If I start talking, I'm gonna start crying. But it's just been a true blessing, Nikki. Honestly, to be a small boutique brand where it's people say, why don't you get investors? My investors would be my family. I really don't want anybody coming in and telling me I can't make this, I can't name this color because it's no. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and if I get backlash for it, then I can cancel it. So what, But it's between God and my family. That's that. In my clients, there won't be no bluffer Joe. Honestly, there won't be no
Right.
bluffer Joe if it wasn't for, those three. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
how we grew from 4 products. We literally sold raffle tickets, Mickey. None of the clients redeemed their raffle tickets. We
Oh,
sold
okay.
raffle tickets. That's how. Yes, we sold raffle tickets to we raffle off spa services. Or raffle off
Okay.
their beauty massages. No one redeemed it. Nobody
Okay.
redeemed it.
So they would
So
purchase,
Bluff
some of the
Joy,
clients would purchase, and then that would go in to
yeah.
the.
So it
Mhm.
was just about them being loyal to support me and making
Right.
sure that we were able to do what we needed to do.
Hmm.
So that's why the beauty industry, I don't know what I would do without it. Honestly, I don't know what I would do without my clients. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
my life. Like,
Yeah. So were your first clients like your in salon nail clients and spa clients?
yes, I never did nails out of my home until just since now, since I live abroad and come back and forth. I have like a few people that come to my studio, maybe 5 a month, if that. Um, but even my mother, I had my mother come. I would pick her up and be like, "Let's go, lady. We're going to the salon today." If I didn't do my mother nails out of my house, you knew I didn't do anybody nails out of my
Right.
house.
Right.
So, yes,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've had such an incredible career. What would you say you've learned about yourself on the journey?
Resiliency. I'm very resilient. I learned that about myself. But
Hmm.
I also know that I'm from a family. I've learned that I'm from a family that's very resilient. When I think about, I'm 54, and my dad was a judge, a lawyer, very successful man in Liberia. And when he had to come to America and start all over at the age of 75, it takes
Oh,
resiliency to do that. When I think
wow.
about my stepdad has like 3 degrees, all wish he got his degrees in the US. He was the president for one of the banks, having to come to America because he had to take care of my mom and my sister, taking a job at Roy Rogers. That takes resilience. So for me, to my core, it's resilience.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
what I've
Wow.
learned about me and my family.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like a certain level of humility as well, like knowing
Yes.
yourself and like these
Yes.
things don't define you.
No,
However,
exactly. Yes,
yeah.
yes, exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. And talk to
Exactly.
us. It's like, I know right now watching there are some single moms out there, and you have done your career as a single mom, and it's incredible, and you have a wonderful son as well.
Thank you. Thank you so
So,
much. Thank you. Thank you. As a single mom, I had a village. I never made my village my son's I never made my village feel like they were responsible for my son. I knew that I had a village and that my village was an extension, because I was very serious about my work. And I never took for granted to say, when I get off work, oh, I'm going to go hang out. and I knew I had to go home to my son. So it was work and my son, work and my son. All of my sacrifices. There are jobs like I didn't take. I got a job offer to work on All My Children. I got a job offer at one point to work on Good Morning America. All of those jobs I never took, and much more that I didn't take because I knew that it was going to require me to be in New York, and I was, a single mom. You have to understand, as a single mom, if your family is helping you and people are helping you, they are just that. They're extra set of hands to help. They are not the responsibility for your child or children. And then on top of that, Miki, you know how strict I was with my son. Y'all know how I was. I did not play. I think my son probably would have preferred, like, would this lady just beat me and leave me alone? My no's were my no's, my yes were my yes. If I said no to something and I said no, if his father, granted his dad and I were not together, but if his dad said no to something, regardless of how I felt about that decision, I honored it because I didn't want my son playing the two of us, especially the fact that we were not together. So my mom used to tell me to bite and blow. That's what she said, girl, just bite and blow, bite and blow. So I've been biting and blowing for a very long time. So those are some of the ways that I was able to handle being a single mom. And, my mom was always there for me. My career wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for my mother. There are times that I would have to go to Pennsylvania, to teach a class or work a trade show. Because back then you had Sheeneman Beauty Show. You had there's another one that was in Pennsylvania. There was Sheeneman, and there was another one. But anyway, all these beauty shows that I had to work at, there were times that my mom went with me and my son was able to go with me because my mom was with me. So you have to have a village, as a single mom, and you definitely cannot make your village feel like that's their responsibility, because it's not.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And I like that you shared, the strictness with your son, because I think we sometimes need more of that, like
Yes.
there's
Yeah.
more, trying to be friends kind of thing. It's like,
Yeah.
no.
No, it will not. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. That's such a fine line, Mickey. You want, the way we were raised coming up, and you want to have that flexibility, but then you still have to let your children or your child know that, listen, I am your parent.
Right.
I'm your parent. The things that I wouldn't have done to my mom, you're not going to do that to me. I'm sorry. I
Right.
don't care. We in 2095. I don't care.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yep. Some things aren't going to happen.
No,
So
they're not.
you shared, like, if people want to follow in your footsteps, is like you've already given us so much, but can you talk to us about like confidence? Because I think that is something that's missing, that I'm seeing a lot as missing, and maybe I'm just seeing it from a different vantage point, but it seems like you have a certain amount of confidence, have always had a certain amount of confidence. And, like I have the luxury hairstylist blueprint now, and there's so many people who are, afraid to say no to their clients, set boundaries with their time, coming in early, staying late, and ending up kind of resentful, as well as not raising their prices. So what would you say to someone who's like, oh, it's like I am that people pleaser. I am that person who's, not standing in my own purpose and my own light.
Yeah. Well, Mickey, and you know me well, so I'm a person that really goes above and beyond for my clients. But nevertheless, I think one of the mistakes that we make in the professional beauty industry is that we expect our clients to respect our time, but we don't respect their time.
Mm,
So when you start to disrespect their time, they start to disrespect your time. Like,
mhm,
my clients would double park because they knew if they were late, I was not going to serve them and they had to pay.
mhm,
Before people started to implement, payment and all of that, I was doing that. I
mhm,
was doing that back then because I didn't play when it came to the schedule. You just will, because let's say if a client is 15 or 20 minutes late and you don't have an assistant, the fact that that person is 15 or 20 minutes late, that's 15 or 20 minutes that you got to try to make up. There are times that, like I would tell my clients, 10 minutes I can make up. When it starts to walk into the 20-minute mark, and especially if you come and those people that their pedicures may take a little bit longer because of how concave their nail may be, I'm gonna let you know I can do an express treatment for you today because I have to stay on schedule for Miki.
Mhm.
And because of that, when I started to respect my clients' time and I started to do that, I can honestly tell you, Nikki, my clients were not late. One of my clients, one time she came in to get her nails done and she double parked. So when I finished her nails, she had her hood open. So when I finished her nails, I was like, "Oh, we need to call AAA." She was like, "No, for what?" I said, "Your hood is open." She's like, "Girl, I couldn't be late for my nail appointment, so you can tell me you couldn't do my nails." I was like, I left my hood open so I won't get a ticket. They'll think my car broke down." But I thought that was clever.
Very.
And and this is a person that she's like a regular client. She's a good friend of mine. But even my siblings, they knew. And
Right.
another thing, I didn't take phone calls with there's so many dynamics around that whole, that's a whole different conversation, because for people to respect your time, you have to respect theirs. And respecting their time is no phone calls. Respecting that time is not double booking. And because you're not double booking, they have to come in on time. They got to leave on time.
Right.
If they need a trim and you know that trim is going to take you an extra 10 minutes, you may want to tell them to come back the next day, or middle of the week, and maybe you can give them a discount, give them a free shampoo or something. So in order to do that trim, so you can accommodate that next client, you have to devise a way that you respect your client's time. And when you respect their time, I charge $100 for a pedicure.
Mhm.
And I don't know too many nail techs in the DC area. That was our basic pedicure. People can charge what they want. It's about getting what you charge. You can charge $20,000 for a consultant client. Do you get 20,000? Do you get 50,000? My point here is this: we charge that. That was our basic rate, and people will look at us. When people refer people to my salon, they will refer people and say things like, "She's a little high," but when people came in, the experience that they got, they were willing to pay that. And again, when I talked earlier about being truthful, let me share a quick story. There was a time
Mhm.
that I hired a lot from Edison, and you used to hire from Edison, so you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
And one of the young ladies that came in, I never gave my assistants when they were transitioning, when they got their license, I never gave them clients if I knew they were uncomfortable with the client. So she had transitioned, and we were so booked that day. This lady came in. She was in DC for a conference, and that's when shellac first came out. She
Mhm.
wanted shellac. So I called her to the back. I said, "Are you comfortable doing this shellac? If you are, I will let you do this, lady." She said, "Yes, Miss Maisie, I can do it." So again, with my honest self, I went and I told the lady, I said, "I'm going to have one of my junior technicians do your nails because we're completely booked just so we can accommodate you. Is that okay?" The lady said yes. Miki, I swear to you, from the pedicure area to where the polishes were, I went to the polish rack to pick up a polish and I glanced at the lady's nails. The lady's nails look hideous. And I was so busy and I didn't stop it. I let that woman walk out of my salon with the hideous nails, and it bothered me the entire day. At
Right.
the end of my day, I called her. I said, "You were in my salon today. One of my, junior technicians did your nails." I knew damn well the lady nails look horrible. I had the nerve to ask her, "Did you like your nails?" I said, "Did you like your nails?" She was like, "As a matter of fact, no, I didn't." I said, "What can I do to fix it?" She said, "Well, I'm about to go out right now with some of my girlfriends." I said, "Well, it was Saturday. So the next day was Sunday. Her conference was Monday." So I said, "I can meet you back here on Sunday. You just tell me the time. I'll meet you here. I will redo your nails at no charge to you, and I'll give you a free gift." So I met her Sunday. We moved the nails, redid her nails, and I gave her a free gift. I say that to say, for you to charge what you're worth and for you to charge top dollar All of those things have to be considered. You
Yeah.
have to know when you're wrong, you have to correct it.
Mm-hmm.
And when a client comes and say, well, I don't like my haircut, I don't like this, just say, what can I do to fix it?
Right.
Tell me. Let me fix it. And then fix it. And that
Aren't those
lady
good
flew from
words?
Atlanta every month to get her nails done until I closed.
Okay. Right. Right. Yeah, that's fabulous. It's like, thank you for that story and thank you for, those words of wisdom because they are words that we need to hear. They're
Yeah.
words that we need to hear that, people are definitely willing to pay, but it's like you really have to deliver on
Yeah.
your end as well.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
you say, what were the words? I want to repeat them as you said them. It's like, what can I do to make it better?
Yeah,
And
that's, and at the end of the day, that's all they want, Mickey. Because they can come into you and say, "Oh, I came to your salon. I pay $100 for this color. I pay $300 for this week." And you just listen. You just stand there and you take the whipping like a champ. And when she's done, and you just say to her, "Okay, Mickey, Miss Wright, I understand. What can I do to fix it?" That's
right.
it. And once you say that, everything is diffused.
Right, right. And like you
Mhm.
say, you have a client for life. They're
You have a
flying in
better
from
life.
Atlanta, yeah, each month for you to take care of them. Yeah,
Yes. And
yeah.
she's still like, when I did this, when I did the drive for my trip today, she was
Mm,
one of the first people to send her Amazon. I mean,
mm.
she still supports me till today. Although she tells me that she's like, girl, she told me I have to record and send to her so she'll know how to do her own nails. I said, I do have a YouTube out there. She's like, I can't with these people. No, no, And that's the thing, people just understand that just be who you are, be true to who you are. Your fingerprints are your fingerprints. Nobody can duplicate that,
Right,
you
right.
know.
Yeah, yeah, so true. So tell us how we can stay in contact with you and what's next in Maisie's world.
I know, right? What's next for real? So, you guys, I encourage you to please support our brand at blufferjoe.com. We are in the clean beauty space. So we're all about skincare with makeup with the extension of skincare. We use true pigments. We don't have any fillers in our product. Also, for those of you who want to be manicurists, nail techs, esthetician, massage therapists, if you have any questions or concerns, you can definitely direct message me or you can direct message Miki. That's a way that I can help you because that's where I am. I'm a licensed manicurist, a master esthetician, and a massage therapist. I've licensed with the state of Maryland. And I have reciprocity in DC as well as North Carolina. So I got you if you need help with whatever you need. You can definitely reach out to Miki. You can email me at Maisie@MaisieDunbar.com and also MaisieDunbar@gmail.com. Please join my communities. Everything with social media, I'm Maisie Dunbar. And for my cosmetic brand, it's Bluffer Joe Cosmetics on social media as well. So
Okay. And so
thank
it's
you,
Fluff and
Miki.
Joe. Did I spell it right?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Yes.
Fluffandjoe.com. So
Yes.
yeah, definitely follow. As you can tell, she's got a wealth of information and just wonderful spirit and willing
Yes.
to share. So yeah,
Yes.
so you're heading out of the country and
Yes. Yes,
so we wish
indeed.
you Godspeed on your travels and definitely
Thank
stay
you.
safe.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank
yeah.
you so much, Mickey. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for inviting me on this platform. I'm always here. Whatever you need, just let me know. I'm always here. I'm only a phone call away. You have all my numbers.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and just spending it with us and really just, pouring your heart out and sharing
Yeah.
about your story because like you said, we don't always know the story behind, what we see on stage or what we see, in a salon setting or what have you. And I think that is so important. And that's why I do what I do. So it's like I'm grateful
Yes.
for you and for your
Awesome. Awesome.
transparency.
Keep doing what you do, girl, because people need to hear these stories.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Maisie. So
All
you
right.
take good care. And everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe there. If you are looking to join us on a regular basis, visit us at beautysuperstars.com, and there'll be a pop-up where you can sign up for, we'll give you reminders about the next master classes coming up here. And follow us at either place on YouTube, which is at Miki Wright. Again, 1K, MIKIWRIGHT, and on beautysuperstars.com/podcast. And you can see it's like we've got almost 70 episodes that are here.
Oh, wow.
And
It's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, there's a lot of nuggets for you to grab onto. And so if you are struggling, it's great. If you are, at the top of your game and wanting to take it higher, it's great because we've got heavy hitters here. So really appreciate you. It's like definitely visit beautysuperstars.com/level up. And if you are interested in raising your prices, gaining that confidence she was talking about, and being able to deliver that impeccable customer service every single time, join me for the Luxury Hairstylist Blueprint. And you can just message me because it's starting tonight, the last one of the year, and it'll be just in time to get your prices up before the holidays, which I think is the best time of the year to raise your prices. So, yep, visit us. And it's like, if you can't make it for this time, definitely sign up for the wait list for Level Up and Charge What You're Worth at beautysuperstars.com/level up. And we shall see you next week. So everyone keep reaching for the stars.
Yes. Bye, Miki.
Bye, Maisie. Thanks so much.